we all have those people in our groups that they're unsure of a putt and they walk the left, they walk the right, they walk behind the hole, then they plumb bob. You're like, putt already. But using GolfLogix with our new green reading tool and putt line, you're actually able to get a good, quick, accurate read of the green, step up, putt the ball, and I can guarantee you won't have as many 3-putts.
Golf Smarter number 715 is brought to you by Autoslash.com, the completely free service that saves users up to 30% on car rentals. Whether you're renting a car for business, pleasure, or golf, make sure you track it and save with Autoslash.com. GolfLogix continues to lead the digital revolution in golf technology with Pete Charleston.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Pete.
Good to be here, Fred.
It's great to have you here. You have developed an app for golf that has always had a bit of traction. You were way ahead of the game with so many of these things, but I'm so glad we're waiting till now to talk about this because you've developed a new element of your app, GolfLogix, that seems to put it way over the top from everything else. So now that we've teased that, let's back up and talk about GolfLogix, the app, your history, and how you've developed it, and just give us the story.
Sure, it's a long story, but we'll make it short.
A long
here.
Podcast.
Oh, perfect. Well, I've got lots to say, so I think we're in a good spot. But we started this way back in 1999. So we were the first company to basically, make a handheld GPS device for golf. So we partnered with Garmin, who back in the day was just really getting started in the personal navigation section. And funny enough, now, if you look back in 1999, no one even knew if you asked 10 people what GPS stood for, I bet you get one.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe two. Whereas now it's all 10 people.
That is so 20th century.
Right. Isn't that weird? I mean, it's
it really
funny
is.
to think about how fast technology moved. But, we started to create our own device. We had filed for a patent on some things and went down the path on our own device and realized quickly that it was going to be relatively challenging, to create this device and found this Garmin eTrex device that was already out and reached out to them and flew out and met with them and pitched them on our concept. And, they really liked it. So we wrote all the golf software and we utilized their Garmin eTrex device. And, we created a whole system that we put at golf courses. Their golfers would either rent or it would be part of their greens fees, and they go out and have a device they could take with them. Really interesting. We actually set up these kiosks, which was part of our initial patent, to where someone would actually plug in via this serial cable, directly to the device and put their name on it. And they would go out and actually track their real game performance data out on the golf course. So on the tee box, they would mark a shot. In the fairway, they'd mark a shot. And they kind of do this throughout the round while getting GPS data, of course. But at the end of the round, they'd plug that device back into this kiosk at the pro shop. And we had this beautiful color printer and this touch screen. Touchscreens were relatively new back then as well. And it would spit out a 3-page color printout of each hole, beautiful in color, where they landed each shot, how far they hit each shot, and then on the final page, it summarizes it. So you got the average distances of every club you used. You got the longest of the day, so your longest drives, how many times you used each club. I mean, it really was remarkable data that we were able to provide back then. And then every time you played a course, we actually built them their own little personal website back then, and it updated it every time you played. So you kind of had this real game performance tracker. Sadly enough, though, we realized that we were way too ahead of our time. It was difficult. The device was not. We were utilizing a device. I mean, there were no touch screens back then. Like, you had to hit these buttons, and it was a challenge out in the course. And so we went back to the drawing board, kind of scrapped this whole kiosk concept, and just went to market to the golf course with these little simple handheld devices manufactured by Garmin, and just simple, big, bold, black and white letters. So you could see it in any environment with any eyesight issues. And, it's front, middle, back of the green, and some, carry distances off the tee. And we got it on Pebble Beach, Valderrama, Mission Hills in China, all over the world. We were selling, these devices. And the main reason we weren't looking at consumers was because it was illegal according to the rules of golf. You could not use an electronic measuring device. SkyCaddy came along a little later and ultimately started selling it on a Palm Pilot, and then started creating their own device. And this was before it was legal. And they started to get a little traction. And then the USGA and RNA changed their stance in the January 2006 ruling. And we immediately went back to our shareholders and investors and were like, hey,
they just opened the door for us.
Yeah, let's go. Let's sell to the consumers. So we went through this whole thing, and we actually figured out, funny enough, SkyCaddy was sending someone directly to the golf course with this GPS backpack. And that's originally how we started, and we had to do the same thing. But in order to play catch up with SkyCaddy, we had to create a way for us to do it more quickly and efficiently rather than having to go to every golf course. So my partner's got an engineering background, and he figured out using Google, right? And this is early on for Google, how to create this mapping program that would allow us to map via satellite. Now, we realized pretty quickly that Google at that point really wasn't accurate enough for golf, but we proved our model that we could actually make it work. So having a mapping team look at golf course images of each hole and saying, okay, using these measuring tools, okay, this bunker came into play on the right, this one came in the left, over the bunker on the right, so all these things, and there's the front, center, and back green. So we were able to do it, and then we found another company that supplied satellite imagery to the U.S. government, and it ultimately ended up contracting with them. And, bam, we were able to map. We had 40, 50 people mapping, and we were able to do 35,000 courses in 2 years. We were off and running. We launched in 2007 and then really made a splash in 2008. We hired Peter Costas and Gary McCord. We did those old 28-minute infomercials on the Golf Channel. We may still have the record for the most successful golf infomercial run. I mean, I think we spent $5 million that year just on infomercials. We were running sometimes twice a day, but it literally was insane. Like the minute we
How was the ROI on that?
Oh, it was ridiculous. I mean, it
really?
It was one of those things when you kind of like, oh, you're all excited. Oh, it would air and you'd get your first telesales call. And then we had, obviously you could buy, at GolfLogix.com as well. And like, oh, we got an order, 2 orders, 5 orders, 10 orders, 100 orders. We're like, you went from like, this is amazing to like, wow, how are we going to fulfill all this? This is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
So needless to say, my partner and I packed a lot of boxes in the back of the warehouse at the beginning, but it really took off. And so the first 6 months we were just on fire. We were in every major retail outlet with golf. We were at a ridiculous amount of green grass locations. But what was interesting is in 2008, we watched the economy start to turn.
Yep.
And we're like, boy, are people going to still continue to pay $300 for a piece of hardware when the first smartphones came out? And ironically now it was BlackBerry
right.
came out. And
it's kind of smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And they came out with this curve, the BlackBerry curve with this tiny little screen, but it had
right.
GPS on board.
And Palm Pilot was still happening here, but they didn't come out with the phone versions of that yet. I guess BlackBerry was the first one as a phone. Palm Pilot was just a PDA, right?
Yeah, and Palm Pilot had a little attachment that you could it was like a little cradle that had an antenna on it that you were able to right you're able to use, but it was this add-on deal and it wasn't included. But BlackBerry started allowing apps. and so we're like, oh boy. And then we started doing our research, and, it became very obvious that the iPhone 3 was out, the first iPhone, but this, I think it was the 3G was going to be the first one that was going to have, the GPS on board. So we went back to our shareholders and investors, were like, well, guys,
here we go again.
I know we're having the greatest year ever. I mean, our sales are just through the roof, but our gut is that we need to run parallel paths and pivot into this, this smartphone thing. And, I think that if we're the first, we're really going to capture this market. And we started developing in late 2008. We launched in July of 2009 on the BlackBerry, and then in August we launched. Beginning of August, we launched on that first iPhone with GPS, and it was, again, off to the races. We just took off. We were the first company. We had we were spending millions of dollars on advertising an app. At that point it was $40 a year. But we're advertising this app on.
But you were able to fire your manufacturers too, right? I mean, once you go digital, you don't need fulfillment in shipping. You don't need manufacturing. You don't need to do all that R&D on parts and machines and Chinese going to China to manufacture this stuff, right?
Yeah, what was nice is it gave us the opportunity to run a parallel path. So as we were building up our app business, we were still selling devices, and there was still a demand for them. And we basically, by the end of 2009, we quit selling the physical device. The good news was they were paying us $30 a year, on an annual membership, to where we kept updating the courses and all these different things. So we had this great, nice stream of recurring revenue. And we were able to service those customers, and it was a lot of customer support, because it was this, what they call it, a 9-pin serial cable or whatever it's called. But
oh my gosh,
you had this little driver, and as all these computers, as Mac and Windows upgraded their systems, the drivers were outdated. Sometimes our poor customer service, they were on the call for 45 minutes trying to get people stuff. So we needed every bit of that $30 to service these things. But
that's interesting.
What's crazy now is we still have. So we sold our last device in 2009. We're in 2019 here, almost done with 2019.
Wow.
10 years ago, we sold our last device. I'll bet you we still have 5,000 customers, 10,000 customers.
On the device.
On the Garmin device. That shows you how tough the Garmin device was.
Wow.
Yeah. So very, very interesting. But that was kind of our history and where our paths kind of crossed, and we pivoted into this new space, and we were really the first pioneer into this golf app company. And Apple, we were one of them. We were one of their we were really early on. They hardly had any apps in the App Store when we first started. They didn't allow, which was interesting for us, there was no recurring fee. They didn't have a model for that.
Right.
So you
no
had
in-app purchases at that point.
You could sell it, but you could only sell it once. So
right.
Whatever your
Jobs was still around then.
Yeah, you sold it for $30 and they got a lifetime access to it. And we're like, well, that's a stupid model. Why would we do it that way? And they're like, well, that's the way we have to do it. So we actually said, well, that's not our model. Can we sell it outside? Yes, you can. So we actually had to they downloaded it for free, and then we had to take them out and they had to put in their credit card in order to sign up for our service.
I see. So
it was a little tough at the start because you were taking people out, but we were the only game in town that had this really high quality kind of imagery of the hole and on all this information and score tracking and club tracking. So it worked out really well. And then eventually, they started to change their model. But
all right. Well, oh my God, this is a phenomenal story of technology in the 21st century. We're going to hear more about it right after a word from autoslash.com, the completely free service that saves you an average of 30% on your next car rental. Now, whether you're a member of a rental car company's loyalty program or not, you can still take advantage of AutoSlash to save you money on your next rental, whether it's for business or your next golf trip, which could be the same thing. Anyway, here's CEO Jonathan Weinberg on why these loyalty programs can help.
We highly recommend folks signing up for the rental car company's loyalty programs. We specifically recommend Hertz, National, and Avis. All three of those companies allow you to skip the rental car counter. There's no fee to sign up for those programs. And basically you arrive, you look for your name on a board, or they text you what location your car is in. You go right to your car, you drive to the exit booth, you're out of there. There have been instances where we've gotten to the rental car center and we see that there's a line of 20, 30 people. You basically walk right past that entire line, you get in your car and you go. I look at the folks online and I just shake my head. If only they had known to sign up for the loyalty program, they could have not wasted an hour of their time.
It's free. It's easy. It's worth it. So every time you plan to rent a car, make sure that AutoSlash is part of the process. That's autoslash.com, AutoSlash, autoslash.com. Did you have any sense when you started this in 99 that you'd be at it still 20 years from then?
No chance. Yeah,
None
chance.
whatsoever. It's like, what are you doing? And people were probably looking like, what are you talking about? You had no idea. What were you doing before that? What led you to the point where you go, I've got an idea?
Well, I've never had I don't know if this is good or bad, but I've never had a job. I graduated college.
Neither is our president. Sorry. I didn't go there.
I graduated college and, I played basketball in college and came back. I went out to school in the Midwest and then, came back to Seattle where I was from and moved in with my uncle, who's actually pretty close in age. He owned a company that distributed stuff to convenience stores, started working with him. And we ultimately came up with a concept, and we were the first company to provide cigars and humidors in convenience stores all across the country.
Oh,
and we took it public. 7-Eleven was one of our big accounts. We took it public on the NASDAQ, and eventually we got our product into like 25,000 convenience stores across the country. So it was a really incredible experience, and I transitioned from that. And I didn't play golf. I didn't touch a golf club till I was 30. Like never picked up a golf club. I didn't know anybody that played. So
you were a basketball player, not a baseball player.
Yeah, I'm 6'5". I'm like, stupid game. Like no one's trying to hit you. You're not like, like, what are we doing? Can I take off my shirt? Like, I never understood.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, right. So I never
funny.
understood the whole golf thing. But when we moved that cigar company, we moved from Seattle downtown to Scottsdale, and This is where we raised all our money. This is where we went
golf
public.
Heaven,
and weather heaven. And I was like, someone took me out, and I go, wow, this is pretty cool. This is amazing. Like I was hooked immediately. Yeah. And there were three of us that started the original company, all three from this cigar business. So we spun off from that, came up with this concept, well, how come no one tells you? I was learning how to play. How come no one tells you, how far you hit your clubs, helps you pick your clubs, gives you distance while you're out there? Because some courses at that point, they had bushes and hedges and, hey, there's the 150 bush. You're probably about, I'm like, well, this is silly. Lasers weren't big back then. So that was kind of our original concept. We came up with we wanted to help a tool to help us learn how to play.
That's kind of like how I started with this, is because I started playing golf later in life as well. And then I kept asking people, what's my target? And they said, just hit your 5-iron here. It's like, no. You and I don't hit our 5-iron the same distance. What am I aiming at?
Right.
And that's really what started me on this quest to start talking to golf instructors about, well, what are the important parts other than just my crappy swing? How do we do this? Interesting. All right. Well, let's move on so now the app ecosystem has taken over, and you are way out in the forefront of all this stuff, but you still have competitors from Garmin and Golf Buddy and I'm blanking on the big name company that Sky Caddy, of course, that, they're just membership based, and all of a sudden you're giving away this app for free. and you have a track record, you've got customers already who know who you are. Where does it go from there? Where do you start realizing what features you need to include to keep yourself ahead of the pack?
Well, I think the reason the reason GolfLogix has been successful is my partner and I we never just sit back and say, we nailed it. We got it. People are coming in, we're getting paid. Like, you've got all these people paying us on an annual basis. We never sit back and just kind of take it in. We're always moving forward. What's next? What's new? That's kind of what keeps us excited about, being in the business we're in, and what can we provide golfers that they don't already have. And, we're trailblazers. I mean, it's frustrating, but we're proud to say that most of the apps that are out there have copied our features, in one shape or another. And I'll tell you, it's a lot easier when all you're doing is copying something and making it better, right? Like you already get to see someone else's vision, and then you build upon that vision, right? You have an advantage. I mean, you can actually beat someone pretty quickly. The bigger companies are famous for it, right? They see an idea and go, yeah.
Apple is too. I mean, I'm a huge Apple fanboy, but they weren't the first one with the smartphone idea. They just made it better. They weren't the first one with an MP3 player that worked. They just made it better.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So, we've always been the first one to do everything.
Yeah.
And, heck, we tried. So in 9 and 10, we started building this community, right? So we actually we're like, I wonder if people want to compete, right? So, Fred, hey, you and I are old buddies from college, and, we never get to play that much anymore. You live where you live, and I live here in Scottsdale, and, we're like, God, I want to have some sort of bet. So we actually created, really before the whole Facebook thing, we created these, individual, web pages. So once you played on the app, it automatically uploaded all the data, your score, whatever else you tracked, your stats. And you could actually reach out and compete, with, each other. So, I'd issue you a challenge, and, I would say, all right, Fred, I'm going to challenge you. Next round we play, I'm going to play. It doesn't matter what course I play. It doesn't matter what course you play. We're going to use our handicaps. And then we're going to use the course handicap at the individual courses to make it fair, the slope and rating. And we had all these little drop downs of things you could bet. And then you could actually create your own like funny bets. But boy, it took off for a while. We had like cops betting donuts. We had people like, if you lose, I get to name your firstborn child. Like, I mean, just really out of the box, funny.
Yeah, of course, your wife has nothing to do with this decision.
Of course not. Yeah. Honey, it was a bet. Like, you got to honor it.
I got to honor it, babe.
Yeah. So it was really fun, and but technology was what it was. It was a bit clunky back then, but it was really fun, and we tried it, and had some nice success there, and then we ended up partnering with Golf Digest, and they were trying to build their own kind of instructional app, and we got really excited. We got to spend a lot of time with Jerry Tardy, who's a great man. We really enjoyed spending time with him, learning a lot with him, and in a process, we actually included this My Golf Digest within the GolfLogix app. So you were able to, if you tracked certain things in your game, as simple as your fairways missed right and left, and or fairways hit, get your greens in regulation just by putting in your putts and score. If you just track those 4 things, they hired this statistician called Lou Riccio, and he wrote this whole back-end algorithm that would rank you against a PGA Tour pro, so you knew where you stood, which usually wasn't very, very well, but you against people that score like you, and then you against yourself. And so if you were deficient in, obviously not the PGA Tour pro, but if you were deficient against yourself or people that score like you, it would take what you'd enter in. So fairways missed, left, greens in regulation, if you start entering your chips and putts and all those things. And it created a personalized lesson plan from Golf Digest, 60 years of instruction. It was really neat. You get stuff from Jack Nicklaus from a 1960s article he'd written. It was really, really cool. And so we had some nice success with that. It's one of the things we try. We partner with Golf Now. We were one of the first companies to, we were their number one affiliate tee time seller.
Wow.
And when we started our partnership with them, they were more of a website based tee time booker. And so they were really excited to partner with us because we had all these people on mobile phones and they could book tee times on the go. And that was one of their initiatives. So we
and
really
then all of a
helped.
sudden they went, oh, an app.
Yeah.
The mobile world.
Yeah. So
all right. So we need to get into the nuts and bolts of how this thing works and why we need to have this on our phones. And we'll do it right after this. To say that I was impressed when I checked out the App Store this morning and saw that you had an average of 4.75 stars with 49,000 reviews, that's pretty impressive.
It's a lot of reviews. A lot of people
have
used
used
our product.
Positive reviews. I mean, you don't get someone going, I can't see the screen. Well, that's your fault, not the. And people will blame the app for that, right? Because they have to put on their glasses to look at the screen or something. But still, that's very impressive. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. No, it's been a fun journey, and we're certainly not done yet. We've all this new stuff we've come out with here in the last year or two. It's been a grind. It's been really difficult to do to get our vision to where it is, but it's great, and it's getting even better every day.
So what are the issues that you hear frequently in reviews or people feeding back to you that do need to be addressed? Things, I mean, for me, I've never been one to pull out my phone while I'm playing golf, mainly because I used to wear contact lenses that allowed me to see far distance, so I couldn't see the screen. I could barely see the scorecard. So for me to pull it out was difficult. Now that I'm just wearing my sunglasses when I'm playing, I can see it. So I actually used it this week for the first time. I'd never use it because I have one of the hybrid GPS systems that not only gives me the front, middle, back on it, but then I can use it as a scope as well. Right. And I felt like that was fine. But I used it this week and I'm like, oh, I can really keep track of a lot more and review my round afterwards and see where my deficiencies are, which is, to me, how you improve is seeing not what you do well, but what you do poorly. What are things that you're finding about the app that, we're still tweaking that one?
Well, our mantra is, golf smarter here, and really play smarter.
What a great idea.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, you play smarter. I know. It's a great name. Where'd you get that?
Thank you.
If you play smarter from the tee box all the way through the green, you're gonna score lower. You're gonna have more success, and ultimately you're gonna have more fun out there, which means you're gonna play more golf, which is great for our entire industry. But standing on the tee box, we're one of the only companies with this 3D graphics of each hole, and it just lays it out in front of you, nice color. And so you see, if you haven't played the course before or you have, how far is that bunker, to the left? What's the carry? So you can actually plan your approach shot, or plan your tee shot, and so you don't hit it in that damn fairway bunker, and make a smart play. And then the thing that we've created in the last 2 years, we've been working on for 4 years, we saw PGA Tour players, they started pulling out these books 4 or 5 years ago. And we're like, what are they doing? Like it was really difficult to get our hands on one. And we finally were able to see one and understand what they were doing. And they, these companies, or a few of them, had figured out how to create these green contour books. So, I mean, really like down to the accurate to like a few centimeters, they're showing the green contours. So you're able to see, the arrows, the slope, and all these different things. You're like, wow, this is incredible. Why shouldn't we be able to do this for the amateur golfer? Why should it just be the tour pros? So we set about it, and it took us a long time. It was very difficult, but now on over almost 13,500 courses in the U.S., we've got this green data, and it not only comes into play, while you're putting, but also on your approach. So again, with this, play smarter, you walk or drive down the fairway, and it automatically pops up the green. Now, instead of just giving you distances, which it still does, it actually shows you the green in detail. So, and then you can tap on the green where the pin is. So let's say the pin is back left and you're 175 yards out, and normally you go right at this pin. Well, now you're able to say, oh boy, anything, if I go past the middle of the green, if I land it there, everything falls off back left. And maybe I wouldn't have been able to see that. But now you see it. And this is why the pros are, I mean, A, they practice all the time, but B, their management of their game is so tight, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
they don't go for the green all the time or go for the pin all the time.
No, because they're, for us, landing from 130 to 180 yards, landing on the green is like, woohoo. Yeah. It's like you're but their pinpoint accuracy is remarkable. Is it legal? This is something you dealt with from the very beginning. Has the USGA and the PGA caught up with you on this stuff?
So they have this year in January, they actually made an official ruling and declared that they created a scale that you had to follow. And if you follow that scale, then you are in fact legal. So at this point, let me back it up for one second. So at this point, sure, we are not legal for tournament play. Okay. But we're in the process of creating a version, kind of a play mode, if you will, that's similar to your rangefinders, that you can, with slope, you can turn that off before you play. So literally everything you would see in the call it the play mode, the compliant mode, would be completely USGA legal, RNA legal, as long as they allow phones, right? And so they don't allow phones in junior golf and in pro circuits. But any other tournament, which most of them do, and they allow electronic measuring devices and phones, we would be completely legal, and that's what we're working towards. But it's this. So when we first launched, we created, it was really a 2D version of the hole, but it had all the slopes and the arrows and the contour lines. But what we found pretty quickly is you had to train someone how to read a contour map, right? Mm-hmm. You had to train them how to read their putt. We gave them all of the ammunition, but if they didn't spend the time to understand what it means if an arrow is pointing sideways or slightly downhill or pointing at you, that we weren't getting some of the people to the next level. And the other challenge that we ran into is that people they were having trouble lining themselves up with where they were versus where the pin was. So we, again, invested in a bunch of new technology, and we actually put a gaming engine inside our app that actually allows you, as you turn your phone, it's like if you stand behind your ball and you point your phone at the pin, it orients the whole entire green based exactly where you're looking or where the phone is pointing, shall we say. So now all of a sudden, when you didn't have to turn your phone around, you walked right up. I'm like, oh boy. So that was cool. That was kind of our intermediate step. And then the comments we got were, well, how come you can't read the putt for me? So we're like, you're right. Why can't we read the putt for you? So similar to like having a caddy standing behind you, right? No different. We allow you to simply, draw a line, a simple finger line from the ball to the cup. And then it zooms in and reads your putt, AKA Tiger Woods golf, right? Aim 12 inches left and 6 inches short. And if you do that, the ball will go in the hole. So we created this physics engine that would really predict the perfect putt.
Wow. And
it's called Putt Line. And not legal for tournament play, but it's great for playing around out there. For those of you like me, I don't know if you're a good green reader. I didn't grow up playing golf, so I'm not a great green reader. I'm a good putter, though. And if I have a caddy, which I don't have very often, if I have a caddy going, I want you to hit it right here, or aim 12 inches left, 6 inches short, I am so great at putting. I never 3-putt when I have someone telling me that. So we've created a tool to help you eliminate the dreaded 3-putt.
Yeah. As a basketball player, is it hard for you to look at the ball while you're putting as opposed to looking at the hole, unlike your free throws?
Maybe I should switch my technique. I don't know, but I always found it easy with chipping and putting for me because it's like shooting jump shots. It's a distance. I don't have to think about distance.
Right.
So
Yeah, I bet.
that is not the hard part of my game. It's the rest of it.
When Apple came out with their AR function in the phone, I think it was like on the 8 or the 10s?
Yeah.
Right? And they introduced this. I mean, that opened the door for you to do this green reading, right? So you can utilize the AR and look at a green if you need to. Is that how that works?
Not really. What's
okay?
What's
please.
Is, yeah, we tried to go down that path because we're like, boy, why draw a line in a ball? Why have to do any of that? Why would you not flip it into AR mode and be able to look right through your phone camera and see the ball, see the cup, and then see the break in real time with the real green? And we got a long ways on it. The technologies, so it's going to be way better. It's the technology and the processing power of the phones aren't quite there yet for our application for what we're trying to do, because it has to be so accurate. This is not accurate to, plus or minus 2-3 yards. If you're not accurate to a foot, the whole putt's off. Like, this doesn't work, right?
Or 3 inches, yeah.
Exactly, right? This is very intensely accurate data we're having to deal with here. So you had to do all these things to get yourself into this AR world. And then we got a long ways, and it was really cool. We're like, we nailed it. You'd show it to people. They'd be like, wow, it's like there were arrows floating on the green. I mean, it was the coolest thing you've ever seen, the aha surprise factor. But luckily enough, we were almost ready to launch this thing. We were really close. And we were in late May in Arizona, and we got this really hot day. It was like 105 degrees out. And we happened to it was like 12 noon. We're out there testing. So the sun was directly overhead. It's 100. I mean, it's burning hot. And all of a sudden, we couldn't see the phone. We're like, what the heck's going on? Well, what happens is the iPhone has an internal temperature control built in. Oh. It doesn't allow your phone to overheat. So what it does, it kind of starts to dim the screen. Well, because you're using this AR, you have to use the camera, which runs the phone hot. We realized, oh my God, this is not, you can't see the arrows anymore.
So thank goodness it was 105 degrees outside. Right?
Yeah, we'd spent all this time and energy, creating this amazing AR experience. But the reality is it doesn't work all the time. And because of the heat is our main concern. There were a few other concerns, but at that point, the heat was the main thing. And we're like, boy, I mean, most people play golf in the summer all over the country when it is in fact really hot. So this is not a viable solution. So we've got a lot of great ideas, and we built some things that we're going to utilize in the future. We just can't use them yet. So really stay tuned. The AR version, I think 2021, I'm not sure in 2020 if the technology will be there, but by 2021, we are going to have, like, you literally are going to hold up your phone and you're going to be able to see your putt. It's going to be crazy cool and fast. But until then,
I'm sure you have an NDA in place, but does Apple, this could just be a yes, no question, you can't go any further, but does Apple give you any clue of what they're working on since you are so high profile in their app store?
They're pretty tight-lipped on what they're doing. So, we generally, this is more of a, we figure out what we want to do, and we try to make it work with the tools we have. And
have they ever invited you on stage for one of their keynotes?
Not yet.
To showcase it?
Not yet. Hopefully next year. Yeah. 2020, 2021 will be our year.
Well, it's the Greek. Well, it's probably because Tim Cook doesn't play golf, and they're basketball nuts over there too, right? I don't know, but you'd think that the kind of technology you've been taking care of, it falls into their gaming part too. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, we've really taken it to a different level. We've really tried to create these features that are new and different, and we're trying to make it easy, fast, and fun, for golfers out there. And I think with this, we have had some feedback on is it legal, and so
sure.
we met with the USGA, and we figured out exactly what we need to do to create this play mode. So certainly by the PGA show, which is usually third week of January, we'll have a fully compliant play mode that you'll be able to set into at the beginning, and it's going to have it's not going to read your putt for you anymore, but we've created a different way to show the green using a heat map. So in color,
wow.
in colors, it really pops. Like it really makes your eye go, oh, I totally see that. I can see where the pin is. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Everything.
It's not
looks
actually
like
reading heat, but you're designing it to be like a heat map where this is the area. You're getting warmer, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So basically, what the pros are looking at, they have a heat map of the green, which is tied to like a slope. So the slope of a green. So like, let's say there's a slope of an 8. That's like almost falling off the back of the green or the front, right? And it goes all the way down to almost a 0, which would be a completely flat putt. So all that data is there, and so every centimeter of the green, you can contour, and so that this is a 2 slope, or this is a 1 slope. This is almost flat. You almost have there should be almost no break. If you're that 0 to 1, and you pray that a pin's in that area, and it's really exciting when you walk up to the green, because we've been doing some testing with this new heat map, and the colors pop out of you. So if you're it's coated in white. White is basically almost no slope, completely flat, and then up to like a 1 would be like a light blue. If you're in that, you're putting in it, and the pin's in it, with certainty, the most you can do is say left center or right center. That putt is not moving, and your brain wants to make you believe that a putt always breaks, but the reality is when you're putting with this technology, with certainty the putt's not breaking. It's fantastic.
Phenomenal.
You putt with confidence. So you have a 12-footer that normally you're just like, okay, please don't blow this by, and leave another 5-foot comeback or a 4-foot comeback. Now you're going, I think I'm going to make this.
No, I'm going to make this.
Yeah,
I'm going to make this putt.
The putt confidence that you have when you have this tool, that you have this caddy really whispering in your ear, is so different, and it really speeds the pace of play, because we all have those people in our groups that they're unsure of a putt, and they walk the left, they walk the right, they walk behind the hole, then they plumb bob. Like, you're like, putt already, but it's when they're unsure. And then generally when you're unsure, what do? You misread it, you blow it by 5 feet, you 3-putt, and now you just took all this time on the green. Where using GolfLogix, you're with our new green reading tool and putt line, you're actually able to get a good, quick, accurate read of the green, step up, putt the ball, and I can guarantee you won't have as many 3-putts. And I'm going to guarantee you're not going to make them all in 1-putts, but you're going to have some now because you read the putt right. It starts there. If you don't read the putt right, this game's awfully hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's hard already, but it's just one more thing to make it harder.
The app's available for both iOS and Android?
It is. So we're
Excellent.
so confident in our product that it's a free download in the Apple Store, and it's also in Google Play. We allow 2 free rounds with all of our full features. So no strings attached. You're not pre-signing up. You just use it, and then the second round it pops up and says, hey, did you want to upgrade? And we offer a $9.99 a month plan if you only want to use it for a few months or the season, or we offer $49.99 a year, which gives you unlimited access to all of the courses we have worldwide. Awesome. We offer a weekend pass, basically a 2-day pass as well.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. So those are the in-app purchases available, the $9.99, the 2-day pass,
yes.
or the annual?
Yes.
Excellent. And, a lot of companies who develop stuff like this, they have to diversify. They have to come up with other products and other ideas that are going to help sustain this business. You seem to have been living off of GolfLogix for 20 years now. Is that going to work for you guys, or do you have other things in the pipeline?
Well, we're always trying to move forward. We were lucky enough to be acquired by a company out of New York. Yeah, thank you. That was almost 5 years ago, and the group.
That's great.
Yeah, they have a controlling interest in Nicklaus Golf, and they own Mira Golf high-end clubs. They own True Spec, which is a club fitting company, amazing club fitting company that's really expanding. And then they also bought Golf Magazine, golf.com about 2 years ago. So we've got these amazing partnerships with these companies, and we're all now really working together with initiatives to really help each other. Like, we're going to stay tuned, right? With golf.com, they've redesigned everything, the magazine, the instructional content, their digital presence. They're doing all these things new, better, and different. And, we're going to be doing all sorts of things to partner with them to help, golfers, play better and play smarter.
Oh, that's amazing. And how much freedom do they give you, or are they looking over your shoulder?
No, they give us a lot of freedom. I mean, we're kind of the high flying entrepreneurs, right? With
a proven track record.
Yeah. And so we come up with these great ideas, and we pitch them. We've got a great support team, and we all talk and have weekly meetings, and we pitch ideas, and some of them they love, and some of them they don't. And some of them were like, no, you guys don't understand. This is going to be amazing. And, they don't all work.
Listen to the entrepreneur. Yeah.
You got to try a lot of stuff, throw a lot of stuff against the wall before something sticks. And,
you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't. It stuck immediately. That's pretty amazing. Oh, Pete, I'm so glad we finally got to do this. It's so great to talk to you and to have you drop Golf Smarter in the middle of it out of nowhere. That's pretty impressive.
Right?
You are doing your homework. Thank you very much. Great to talk to you. Best of luck. And everyone, check this out. I mean, if you've got golf apps in your phone, then you owe it to yourself to absolutely try GolfLogix. You don't have to use it, but you're going to find it is the leader and everyone else is copying it, as he told before. Thanks so much, man. And congratulations. Good luck in the future.
Thanks so much, Fred. Appreciate having me on.
So how's this for an exciting little tease? After our conversation, I was able to get a commitment from Pete that we're going to give away 4 full-year memberships to GolfLogix in 2020. So please stay tuned for that. I'm working on our 2020 giveaways right now, and that is a good one. But right now, you need to register to win an all-access pass to Gravity Golf Challenge, courtesy of Danny and David Lee at gravitygolf.com. Now, the all-access pass includes all 3 stages, featuring 48 progressive lessons valued at $500. Deadline to enter is Sunday, December 1, 2019, midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern. To enter, go to golfsmarter.com and click on that giveaway banner at the top of the homepage. This week on Golf Smarter Mulligans, brought to you by twoguyswithgolfballs.com and autoslash.com, we learned from Jim Samsing, Director of West Coast Instruction for the Bird Golf Academy, the basics of how to keep your swing simple. So get your free subscription for Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. All you need to do is click on the Hey Fred button at golfsmarter.com.